front and Plum right behind him. So we got out, but I don't think I've ever had my head slapped that many times. That was super fun, though. Super fun.
We just got up and rolling. Can you tell us a little bit more about that melee at the end? Just in terms of the celebration and the chaos and seeing all the students come down?
Yeah. I mean, so my redshirt freshman year, Minnesota at home, I think we rushed the field. Yeah, we rushed the field for that one, but since then didn't have a chance last year, obviously, and so that's one of those things that you love to see. It's always super fun because you look back at the biggest games and our program's history. The crowd's usually down there storming the field, so that was sweet. That was awesome, and what a way to celebrate that win. That was a lot of fun.
Talk about the go-ahead drive, the go-ahead score. Was that something you were kind of keeping in the bag until?
Yeah, something we had in our back pocket kind of the whole game. That play is extremely important that we weren't getting blitzed. So they were blitzing us. I don't know what the numbers will be, but I'd say probably 80% of the time. So I was kind of waiting for the right moment to call it. We knew we weren't getting blitzed, so went forward to run the play, and then Nico ran you guys will see that on film. That was a crazy good route, really awesome. So just a great call, great play design, came at the right moment. Not a moment too soon.
What did you see that you knew they weren't blitzing?
That's just pre-snap looks, and those guys did a great job all day of really disguising because there's. For the most part, you can get a good beat on at least a decent beat on what's going to happen post snap, and a lot of times, especially in the pass game, you can just react to it. But in the run game, it's different because if you're running the ball into a blitz, it's pretty much dead. And I'm sure we ran far too many plays into a blitz today, which is my fault. But just they were doing a good job of disguising it. Really good game plan. But we just kept fighting.
When you get a guy wide, you barely had a guy wide open all day. When you got to make that throw, it seemed like you delivered in the right fashion.
Yeah. They were doing a great job, all day of playing great defense, and we got them there. They got us on a couple early, and we got them there.
But what about you as a quarterback in the pocket there? You see that developing opening. The game's on the line, but you got to make that throw.
Can't overthink it. That's I can see where that might be. Might think that, but really, if you see a dude wide open, you just got to throw the ball.
Spencer, I had a chance to catch up with our former Wildcat alum, Jared Goff, this week, and he talked about following you and watching you. What is it like? He said that you guys speak quite a bit, and he gave you advice when you chose what college to go to. What is it like to have somebody like that, a fellow Wildcat alum that you went to high school with, played at your high school and keep checking on you?
It's awesome, especially, a guy like Jared, who I'm sure has a million things to do. He's texted me after any big win, and just to see the success he's had, and it's just really cool, and it makes me feel, it makes me feel great just because, we are part of that Marin Catholic family, and it's really awesome. He's a really nice guy.
Spencer, we talked all week about how this is the biggest game since a long time ago. Obviously, this is the biggest win of your career as the Hawkeye starter. When was the moment that you realized that you guys had this win, and what was it like when that feeling sunk in for you?
I'll be honest, it was not until that final knee, as the clock, I think it was at 2 seconds, just because we knew it was going to be a 60-minute ball game. Nothing about it was easy. But so in a game like that, even though you can do all the math you want and think about, obviously our defense was playing great and Torrey was punting the ball great, but you can't relax until that clock really strikes zero in a game like that.
What does this win do for you guys moving forward?
It's big. We obviously played a great opponent today, and to come out on top is huge. But really, it's going to be back to the drawing board on Monday. We're going to enjoy the hell out of this, I'm sure, and our 24-hour rule, and just enjoy the win. It was a big win, but we have one more game until our bye week, so I think our focus becomes beating Purdue, and then after that we can really take time to kind of reflect and rest and that kind of stuff. But it's just a one-game season at this point.
What's that like watching your punt coverage unit punt team?
I'm sorry, can you say it again?
What's it like watching your punt unit coverage team and your punter perform with it?
It's great. Obviously you don't want to punt, but it's obviously going to happen, and just have all the faith in the world that Torrey's going to put those guys pin them back when he has the opportunity. And I think it was Ivory on that one where he really slapped it back. I mean, those are incredible plays, super high effort plays, and huge plays in the ball game. And pinning them back deep, and the crowd just being the loudest I've heard it at Kinnick, and making it hard for their offense. So it's a huge part of the game, and they had special teams altogether today had a great game.
Spencer, in the second quarter, you guys were down like 2 touchdowns, 7-3, and you put together a 75-yard drive. At that point in time, it'd been kind of frustrating, I think, probably as an offense before you were able to put that together. What was able to take place and to enable you guys to get yourself in a position where you could get back in the ball?
The biggest thing in when we're not moving the ball how we'd like is just to keep it one play at a time, because like that interception I threw to Nico, like that was forced. That's something where like we're not moving the ball and I want to make it happen too much, and you force it, right? You can't force anything, whether it's in the run game or the pass game. You have to let it develop and let it happen. I think the biggest thing there is patience, keeping a cool head. Blue head, as the All Black rugby team would say, but just kind of one play at a time. Like, let's get back on track, and eventually the results show.
These are the moments you came here for, to be a part of it. What's it like right now?
It's pretty incredible. I mean, that was it was awesome. Like, it was like I said, the loudest I've ever heard that stadium. Just the atmosphere was awesome. It was really crazy from kickoff to the end, and then just I think the way we won too. Like, it was a team effort for sure. When we weren't moving the ball well, our defense had our back, our special teams had our back, and then we were able to put it, score that touchdown late. To put us ahead, that's awesome. So I'm just a great day, and super proud to be a part of this team.
Just one more question.
You talked about being patient, like it's easy to do.
Yeah.
How hard is it when nothing is working?
I think any great veteran quarterback is going to stay patient throughout the game. Like I don't know if you're going to be able to find a clip of Tom Brady, forcing something when he's frustrated. And I did today on that one to Nico. But it's definitely difficult just because you want to make something happen, but when you try and force things, that's when turnovers can happen, bad negative plays, and can't do it. We got lucky today that we were still able to pull off the win, but a turnover, especially on I think it was a -20, it's not good. So comes with experience, but yeah, it's hard sometimes. Thanks, guys.
Okay, we got defensive lineman Logan Lee.
Logan, have you ever heard Kinnick Stadium louder than that today?
I've never been a part of something like that. That was a great experience, just having all the fans come out. That's the loudest experience I've ever had in my entire life, so it's pretty cool opportunity.
It's one thing to listen to that kind of noise and be a spectator. It's another thing to be on the competitive field. How does that motivate you guys?
It's really cool having that big of a backing. 70,000 people are there just to support you, and they had a huge impact on the game. They helped force a lot of penalties, and that was a big part of the game.
What's it like when you have the field rushing there in terms of just technically getting around?
That was a really cool experience. Like I said, I haven't been a part of something like that before, so just to be in the middle of that, it's kind of chaos, but won't forget something like that.
When the false starts, how much of that was you guys, and how much of that was the fans?
I think credit should be shared there, but the fans really made a big difference, and I think that they really helped force a lot of those false starts. So.
How did the game change from your perspective when obviously the quarterback switch happened and went the other guy?
It definitely changed more to a rushing offense for Penn State for us. We expected them to continue to rush the ball. I think number 2 had 7 passes on the season, so we were pretty comfortable just forcing him to continue to rush the ball and force him to 3rd and long.
Logan, how did you know that he only had 7 passes on the season? Was that made known before the game?
We talked about that at halftime. Our coaches let us know that he's gonna try to run the ball. So.
Did, at a point in the game when you guys got behind by 2 scores, that the defense felt like it was in your hands to kind of hold them and get you guys back into it?
Yeah, nothing really changes for us. Our mindset's always just to go out and get a stop. It's a 4-quarter game. What was it? Beginning of the second quarter, they scored the second touchdown. We're staying composed. We're not really concerned about what's going to happen in the future because we know we'll be able to stop them in the future.
You guys have done some historic things with takeaways. What's the biggest element associated to that now, seemingly week after week?
Just everybody being in the right position, everybody doing their job. If everybody's just doing what we're told to do, and the coach is developing a great game plan, and we run that and execute it well, sky's the limit for us, and we're going to continue to force those turnovers.
Do you want offenses to take those shots? I mean, because of the way you guys are playing, do you want to see that when they throw you?
Yeah, of course. I think it really gives a great opportunity for our DBs to get underneath the ball. So whatever we can up front, we can put pressure on the quarterback and force him to make a throw off his back foot. That's always our goal.
How big is it when Torrey can pin teams deep inside the 10 like that and let you guys kind of pin the ears back and get after it?
Yeah, Torrey had a great game. The Gunners really did a great job just getting to the ball and making sure it didn't go into the end zone. And that was definitely a huge part of the game. That really set us up for great opportunities to put the offense in good field position.
How comfortable are you guys in games like that where it's, it's physical? It's going to come down to a couple defensive stops and special teams and punt coverage.
Yeah, we're always very confident in those situations because we practice those situations. We're always high tempo throughout the entire practice, and we know that it's going to take 4 quarters to win a game. If we go down one in the first quarter, we're not too concerned because we know we'll rally in the fourth just because we have the finishing mindset.
Their tempo was really difficult to match, it seemed like, for the first quarter. How were you able to slow it down, and was it just when the quarterback changed that you were able to kind of alter the game?
Yeah, the tempo was a little bit difficult right at the beginning. It was pretty inconsistent, so that was the challenging part. But we just made a couple corrections on the sideline, and we just made sure we were in the right position at the right time. So.
Okay, thank you, Logan. Matt Hankins up next.
What's going on, everybody? Y'all good?
Matt, have you ever heard it be that loud at Kinnick, or where does that rank as far as atmospheres for you?
Shoot, it's up there for sure. Think today or Ohio State 2017, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah, you've been a part of 3 crowd rushes. I mean, can you rank them, or is it just now it's so fresh that you got recency bias?
I definitely rank Ohio State, the best one in my freshman year, but it's always exciting when the fans rush and whatnot. But after I always tell the young guys, once you experience the first time, I'll be trying to get off the field as quick as possible and get back in the locker room. So
where were you when the rush happened? Did you get off?
Shoot, I was in the locker room.
Why do you think this keeps happening with the takeaways? I mean, are you guys just expecting it every game, or are you been surprised how you guys are getting these in bunches?
Never surprised. It's the work we put in during the week. Playing the zone defense, having eyes on the quarterback, seeing where the ball being thrown, being able to break on the ball. It's just repetitive. We just challenging each other to make plays and get better.
Matt, you know the identity of this team about as well as anybody on the field for the Hawkeyes. Do you feel like this was the ultimate Iowa type of win, the complementary football, the battling back, winning with defense, punting, field position, all those things until, you kind of suffocate the other team?
Yeah, it definitely was. We had adversity in the first half, came in the locker room, talked over the game plan, discussed, changed a few things, came back out and was ready for war.
When you knew you had that different quarterback for the whole second half, what did you say to each other, or your coaches tell you at halftime? And what did you just sense from Penn State from that moment forward?
I mean, they was a little shaky with the new quarterback, false starts and whatnot, but it's football at the end of the day. People go down, and the next person got to step up. So.
Did you say anything to Terry when he went in for Riley?
I said I wasn't worried. I know he was ready for it.
Matt, after you got that interception at the end there, you came down to the other end of the student section to celebrate with the fans, show them the ball. How cool was that moment after that last pick?
It was a great moment. Wish we ain't get no flag, but we won the game, so I guess what it matter right now.
So how long do you guys enjoy this one?
24 hours. Get back to it tomorrow.
Matt, do you guys have a nickname for yourselves yet? Secondary? Anybody get one?
The Doughboys. We're about that paper. We trying to get to the money, the ball, the money. And as you can see this season, we've been getting to the money.
How helpful is it that special teams make a lot of great plays today?
It's very helpful. You know, great field position, and the way our defense has been playing, you know, you can't ask for more.
Your quarterback had a tough quarter. I think everybody did on offense, but when the plays were to be made in the second half, he came through. What kind of confidence do you have in Spencer right now and in the offense in general?
I have all the confidence in the world. Because like you just said, when it came down to it, he made the plays, and that's what we need. You know, like Logan said, you know, we first half was, you know, iffy the whole team, but fourth quarter we came back and finished. That's all you can do.
You guys talk one game at a time, but this was different, right?
It was nothing different. It's one game at a time, one play at a time, one day at a time. Keep your head where your feet at.
One more from that.
Hey, Coach Parker, let that flag slide.
Most definitely.
Right.
Got Jack Kerner.
You get that second interception in that game to deep in the end zone. What did you kind of see on that play, and what did you do to make that play happen?
Yeah, I was just dropping back in coverage, and I saw the receiver pushing me vertical. He made a little move inside. I bit on a little bit, and then I cornered my eye. I saw him break back vertical, so I had to flip my hips, find the ball in the air, and I was able to make a play on the ball. It was a good feeling.
How do you keep putting together games with chunks amounts of turnovers? 4 here, obviously.
Yeah, it just goes back to our alignment keys and responsibilities that we play on defense. All the coaches, they prepare us really, really well for what the offense is going to be trying to do to us. And with everybody playing their keys, jamming and sync on receivers, playing ball or playing pass if you're playing pass, and playing the run if you got the run. I mean, the ball will eventually find you if you're doing the job.
I think it took you a while to get off the field tonight. What was that like for you out there?
They were running some up-tempo stuff.
I mean, just off the field, at the end of the game.
Oh, off the field. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I was maybe one of the last ones to get off. But, I mean, I wouldn't trade that feeling for the world, being out there, high-fiving with fans. I remember when I grew up a Hawk fan my whole life, going to Kinnick as a little kid. High-five with so many little kids, screaming "Go Hawks" about 150 times is a moment I'll never forget for sure.
Jack, do you think that Iowa was getting the respect that the number 3 team in the nation should have been getting this week leading up to it? And just as an Iowan yourself and getting this win, what does that just do for you in terms of just the statement and how much pride you have in the program?
Yeah, we definitely feel like this was a statement win. We try not to concern ourselves too much with the outside noise, whether people think we deserve to be this or deserve to be that. But some of that stuff bleeds through a little bit, and this definitely was a great win to kind of make a statement that we're playing well too.
Along those lines, I mean, this is kind of a defining game anytime we play a top 5 matchup. And I mean, you guys won this your way. It was the complementary football. It was the field position battles. It was every inch in it. How much pride do you take in not only getting a win like this, but doing it your way, in your identity?
Yeah, I'm so proud of my teammates. I mean, like you said, all 3 phases, we're really getting after it tonight. And, you know, the fans can think whatever they want about the style of whether we play, but the coaches, they know what they're doing, and they know the strategy that we're trying to implement. And, you know, like you said, complementary football, that's what's winning us games right now. And so I just couldn't be more proud of my teammates for being able to go out there and execute what the coaches were wanting us to do out there.
How was Kirk after the game? I know sometimes he can get emotional. How was the celebration?
So like I said, I was out there for quite a while, so I think I missed the KF little post-game speech, but I was able to shake his hand after, and you know, he was ecstatic, and we were able to share a nice moment there. And you know, I grew up watching KF be the coach my whole life, and you know, he's the man.
When Riley goes down with that injury, what kind of goes through your head in that moment, and what do you say to Terry as he steps in?
Well, it's obviously a tough break for Riley. You know, he's a player that we really want to have out on the field, but the level of concern that we had when he went down was not necessarily high, because we know what Terry's been doing. He's been doing it for the past 3 years, and he's been showing us in practice that he proves that he can play, and obviously he proved that out there tonight. So the level of concern, when obviously we were concerned for Riley, but having a guy like Terry that can step in there and you know, do the job just as well is really important, and it was obviously a key to keeping us going.
Zach, how has your kind of eye discipline or ability to study quarterbacks changed since you first got here? big part of your defense, just being able to keep your eyes on the quarterback instead of just an individual back.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the whole like root of our defense is just having guys with their eyes back on the quarterback. That's what leads to turnovers and interceptions. But my personal growth, just having Coach Parker and the older guys before me, Monty Hooker, Jake Gervais, that kind of laid the groundwork, taught me how it works and how to be effective in this defense. I've definitely improved over the years, and you know, I couldn't have better role models in my corner to help teach me, and goes for the whole defense as well.
You know, in your 12-game win streak, only 2 games were by single digits. So it's almost an unusual situation now to be in a game like this. But you know, what was kind of the mindset of the team for you throughout it, even when you're down 17-3? I mean, that's at the point where some teams back off, and how did you guys continue to push forward?
Just being able to trust each other, and like I said, trust the teammates and trust all 3 phases that are going to do what they're going to do. And so on the defensive, we just got to go out there and keep getting stops. 17 points isn't that many in the grand scheme of a game and a half. Of course that's a lot, but in the grand scheme of a game, it's not many. So as long as we can keep holding them and, you know, force them to punt, force them to get a field goal, give the offense a short field, that's the complementary football that we're trying to play. And so hopefully a good thing that was able to work out tonight.
Does this feel like a special season, like it could be a special season, or do you even allow yourselves to think like that?
We're thinking every season's going to be a special season, but of course, you know, we're undefeated, and everybody's riding high on us right now. We just got to stay humble and stay focused on what we're going to do, like we were going to do, win or loss.
Speaking on Penn State's tempo offense, they had success early on. What were the keys to kind of honing in on the defensive end and slowing it down throughout the game to where at the end they weren't getting many yards?
Yeah, we just needed to understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to get us up tempo. They were trying to get us to set the defense the wrong way and kind of confuse guys' eyes and everything. So just understanding that they were trying to do that, you know, getting to where you needed to get lined up and see the call so we could be lined up fast and they wouldn't catch us in the wrong defense or anything. That was something that was really important because they were catching us on that stuff a little bit earlier. But the coaches just were harping on us that we needed to get set, get our eyes back to the call so that we could execute what the defense that was being called.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jack. Jamie, next.
Nico, how did you get from Connecticut to here?
5 years of high school. Remember?
Place to start.
Yeah. All I wanted to do was play big-time football like this my whole entire life. And I remember talking to Coach O'Keefe when he was still with the Dolphins. Coach O'Keefe went to the same high school as I did, which is pretty crazy. And one day in my 5th year of high school, he gave me the call, and I packed up my stuff at prep school, and I flew out here 3 days later, and here I am.
Nico, what was it like getting that catch?
I don't know. It was a crazy feeling, really. I mean, the fans today were on another level. I've never seen anything like it. It was rowdy, and I will truly never forget what today was like. It was mind-blowing, really.
The call out, what was the coverage on that game there?
We don't really have a name for the route. It was just like rolling out one way, and hopefully they take the bait. And the guy took the bait, and Spencer made a perfect throw, and the line blocked extra hard, and Keegan ran his guy off. That's the beauty of it. Everybody just has to do their part. I get the spotlight for this play, but without everyone else, it wouldn't have happened. Just like if the defense didn't get a 3-and-out, and if Torrey didn't punt it down to the 2-yard line. Which is awesome about our team. We all rely on each other so much, and we're pretty solid everywhere, and that's why we're pretty good.
Nico, Spencer can really throw some nice balls on, as far as the 20-plus on the sidelines, both sides. You got one a couple weeks ago. What made him so effective on that route, and that you've worked with him, and then just specifically to that play, because he's going from one hash to the other and trying to throw you over.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows Spencer has a pretty strong arm. He's making crazy throws every single week, and at practice we ran this play, and he threw the ball like 70 yards down the field, which was pretty wild. Put the ball on a line straight to me, so that's what we see it every single day. Huh?
What day was that?
I don't know. It's been a pretty long week. So either Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah.
Nico, I've heard you say that before about all you wanted to do was come play big-time football, big-time football.
Yeah.
This is as big time as it can really get. have you been soaking that in, and what was the moment when you realized you guys had just won the biggest big-time football game you've been a part of?
Yeah, this was like the biggest of the big time, which was pretty awesome. I mean, you don't get moments like this every single day, and just taking advantage of the opportunity. And it was a mentally draining game for sure, and physically draining, but we came out on top and we fought for it and we deserved it.
This team has been opportunistic all season. That's what's defined you guys. And
Yeah.
this is a defining performance for your complimentary football. How does it feel I mean, the win defines the season in terms of the quality of the win, but also the way that you guys played. How proud are you of playing Iowa's way to get this win?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, today, like, sitting on the sideline, I was so emotionally drained and just, like, screaming for the defense so much. Like, I truly almost teared up a little bit out there, just, like, because we all care about each other so much. It's the beauty of our team. I think we all really want each other to succeed, and we all trust each other so much, and, yeah.
How far do you think you guys can take this? Like, does it feel like you guys are on the cusp of something truly unique and special at Iowa?
I mean, we know we have something special here, but we take it day by day. Just like we're gonna enjoy the win for the next 24 hours, but after we watch the film tomorrow, it's straight to business, and that's how we've been every single week, and that's the way we're gonna continue to do it. And on Monday, we'll get to work on Purdue.
Do you ever get amazed by what your defense is able to do after, 4 interceptions this week, 6 last
Every single game. We go against them all the time. We faced them in camp, and it made us better, definitely. It's like the best defense we'll play all year because they're so good all around. And every time they go out there, every time they throw the pass, I truly believe that it's going to be an interception. And that's the trust that I have in them, and so does the rest of the team.
You've been called slot receiver, short yardage receiver. Do you feel like they should come up with a new term for you now?
It's whatever people could say what they want to say. And as long as we keep winning, I'll be happy.
Would you walk out the field? Maybe dumb question, but 5 years, is that prep school thing, in high school?
So I graduated high school, and then all my friends went to college, and then if you go to a prep school, it's a big thing in the Northeast. You get to repeat a year. So you could do 4 years at a prep school. Like I could go to my high school freshman year and then go to the prep school and just repeat a year. You just repeat the year.
I know you guys wanted to run that play, practiced it, but did you think you'd have that chance as the game was going on? Because it was later in the game. Do you guys think you guys would still be able to run it?
I was thinking about it all game, for sure. I was hoping that he would call it, and he called it, and we pulled through and got the play.
Is that set up by first quarter? I think you run a similar kind of rollout with Spencer, a couple levels there. Is that set up by that maybe earlier in the game, you leaking off that backside and kind of breaking that flow?
That's a question for Coach Brian. That's a little over my head. I just run the play that they tell me to run. Yeah.
Thanks, Nico. Then Senator Tyler moves on next.
How's it going, guys?
Good. A little chippy in the first quarter for you there?
It's a little friendly competition. That's the stuff you love, though. Two great teams going at it.
How much do you embrace that challenge, like what Penn State brings on today, and appreciate what they can do defensively?
Yeah, as a competitor, that's what you love. We knew there was going to be some adversity, and there definitely was. Just being down and stuff like that. But it's a 4-quarter ball game. And just keep pushing, keep attacking them. It was an aggressive defense, great players over there. Just happy we got the win.
Tyler, as a kid who grew up just down the road, rooting for Iowa, what does moments like this mean to you?
Yeah, today was definitely special. It's something we'll remember for the rest of our lives. Maybe we won't remember every single play, but we'll definitely remember just the experience that we had in the locker room, fans on the field. That's the stuff you appreciate. That's the stuff you look forward to in competition. And I'm just proud of the guys, the way we competed today, the way we fought through adversity. It was a great team win.
How was Kirk in the locker room? What was that like for him?
Yeah, Coach Ferentz was, he was emotional, just like any big win we have. That's the guy that, we love playing for. Whenever you see a coach emotional like that, he's proud of the guys, proud of how we played and how we pulled through together.
Where were you when they rushed the field? Did you stay out in it for a second or two?
Yeah, that was probably the hardest part about the game, trying to get through that mosh pit. I'm not going to lie. I might have a slight concussion from the amount of times I got hit on the head. Just kidding, don't tell the trainers. But yeah, it was fun. And that's the stuff, like I said, It's number 3 versus number 4. You know, that's the stuff you love. That's the stuff you're going to remember for the rest of your life.
Did the game have a different feel like than you've ever experienced before, or not?
You know, that's a good question. I've been a part of a lot of big games. I don't know if anything like this. Just the energy that our fans brought today, you know, was amazing. And then, you know, obviously, you know, the ups and downs, but the fans were with us through the whole game, which is awesome to see.
You're down 17-3 early in the second quarter, and not much was working on any side of the ball, for that matter. How were you able to be patient and put together the drive that was really kind of put you back in the game?
Yeah, you know, finishing up the second quarter, you know, we felt confident. We were getting push up in the line in the run game. We just had to stay at it. You know, we knew kind of our big thing was it's a 4-quarter ball game. 2 quarters down, you know, let's finish. You know, I thought we did a great job. You know, and we pulled through. And it was a great team effort. Defense played their balls off. You know, Torrey did a great job putting us in field position, and you know, it was awesome.
With Tyler Goodson, you know, he's really fighting for a lot of yards out there. I mean, what do you ever, when you're watching film, because you're not watching him when he's doing it, but I mean, what do you think when you see him make some of the moves he does, even to get a couple of yards sometimes?
Yeah, when you have a special back, you know, I think we have a pretty special running back room. Just a great group of guys. You know how to play the game and love playing the game. So whenever you're blocking for guys like that, it's pretty special. You know, and just we got to challenge ourselves as the O-line, knowing that who we have in the backfield, just to keep blocking longer, finishing, and just play more aggressive.
There was probably late third quarter, early fourth, when Goodson began to break runs. Did you sense them getting tired?
Yeah, that's kind of what we preach on. You know, maybe stuff's not going to happen first, second quarter. Just keep pounding. You know, still being aggressive, get to our blades, and eventually, you know, they're going to get tired. We're going to wear them down. Goodson's going to break tackles and stuff like that. Well, that's Iowa football for you. Just trying to wear guys down, and you know, it all falls back to the stuff that we did in the winter and the summer conditioning, and just you know, go back to our training and just rely on that.
Tyler, you talked earlier this week about knowing that all these former Hawkeye greats were going to have their eyes on this game and be watching this, and you knew that. And how great did it feel to you to show them not only that you guys could win this game, but that you could do it the Iowa way? They know about complimentary football and how much you guys battle for every inch, and that is ultimately what decided this game.
Yeah, you know, it's awesome that we were able to pull through. You know, I know those guys never had a doubt in their mind throughout the whole game just because they know what it's like to be an Iowa Hawkeye. So, you know, just to be able to come out the win and do it for all the guys that were before you, all the current former players, it's pretty special to get the win for them as well.
Have you been thinking much about what could be ahead here, a little bit farther down the road, if this could be an extra special team?
You know, not really. I think we're so dialed in on, you know, that next game after our game. Obviously, we're going to enjoy this game, 24-hour rule. Our focus right now is, you know, we got one more game in that first block, first 7-game stretch, you know, and then we'll have time, you know, to reflect and, you know, maybe see what we have ahead, what we've done. You know, as of right now, we're going to enjoy this 24 hours, and our next game is going to be on Purdue. You know, Purdue beat us last year. You know, they gave us a challenge. You know, we're going to know that going in, but right now we're just going to be focused on, you know, what we did tonight, obviously learn from it in the film, and then, you know, move on to Purdue.
Okay, thanks, Tyler.
Thank you, guys.
Last player will be Tyler Goodson before coach.
Tyler, where's this one rank for you?
Say it again?
Where does this win rank for you personally?
Shoot, since I've been here, it's one of my favorite wins since we've been here. You know, those guys have a history. We have a history of going back and forth with those guys, and we beat them last year, and we wanted to keep the tradition of keep beating them, and that's what we did tonight. And it was just a fun experience just to see not just the fans but the guys on the team come together and get stronger throughout the game and celebrate a tremendous win like this. And it's just only going to give us momentum going into the next couple weeks.
You guys have a lot of possessions get into their territory, but then end. How do you guys avoid getting frustrated and keep the patience till when you guys can actually score later?
Yes, football's a tough game, especially when you get into the high red area, low red area in the goal line. You know, those guys had a good defense. They had a very tough defense. They had some athletic guys on that side of the ball, and those guys were very talented. You know, football's not an easy game, and we know that. But going into those times where we're not getting into the end zone, it can be frustrating, but this team does a good job and just not letting that get to our heads and just keep fighting and fighting and knowing that possibly when the next drive comes, we could score a touchdown.
Tyler, saw you were one of the last guys off the field. What was the
experience like out there?
Man, I was trying to get back to the locker room, celebrating my teammates, but I'm getting a bunch of head taps to the head and about to fall over. But it was a fun experience, you know, interacting with the fans, getting a couple pictures with them, and just celebrating with them as well. And then once I got back to the locker room, it's just an unbelievable feeling just to see those guys just all come together and celebrate a big win like this, because this win means a lot for us.
What was the celebration like in the locker room?
You know, a bunch of jumping, music going, dancing with the recruits. Just a fun experience, you know. A lot of guys it's just a moment that nobody else can feel unless you're in athletics, period. It's just an unbelievable feeling and I wish you guys could feel it as well. So it's just fun.
Tyler, how much has this offense grown over the past couple of weeks? You know, so much has been said about the defense, but how much has this offense really learned about itself and grown over the first couple of weeks?
I'll say that, you know, our offense has tough games here and there. Sometimes we may not be the most consistent, but this team always knows what we have and the potential we have to be the best offense in the country or maybe the nation. So we just each and every week we just go into every week knowing that we could do anything on that field to score touchdowns and uplift the energy on this team. So that's really been our focus each and every week, and us not letting get to ourselves and allowing us not to be able to make those plays or have the potential to go score touchdowns and win the game.
There was a moment early in the game where you made a long run, you got a little emotional saying, kind of give me the ball, and the team did that. I think this might have been your season high in carries. What does it feel like to know that the offense has that much trust in you to continue to push it forward?
It's amazing, you know. I think every player would like a coach or even your teammates to have trust in you. You know, if your teammates or your coaches don't have trust in you, then they're not going to put you on the field. So it's a good feeling to know that those guys trust me with the ball in my hands, and the guys up front, we're going to do everything they can to open up holes for us. But all in all, I'm always emotional throughout the game. I'm always going to be the most lit guy out there. The game always going to be fun for me, and no matter if I have the ball in my hands or not, I'm always going to celebrate if I make a play, or I'm going to celebrate when teammates make a play.
Nico, Spencer's had a couple of really big throws in the last couple of weeks. Sometimes it takes most of the game, but tonight he had a couple as well.
Yes.
What's kind of your level of faith in him, and how maybe you've seen him make those big plays?
Yes, I've always had faith in Spence, 100% faith, 100% trust, and I think the whole offense feels the same way. That guy has improved tremendously, and I told you guys last week that he looks more comfortable in the pocket, and he's dialed in. And if you guys just seen the way he prepares each and every day, then there's no question why he's making these throws on game days, because he just does the little things right, and he prepares himself in practice, and once you do well in practice of the game, you're going to do well in the game. So he does a good job in preparing for and getting ready to go for practice, and that's where it starts.
1 for 9 after the first quarter has been picked off. Why does he not fold? Why does he not change?
It's football. Like I said, football is not an easy game. It's part of the game, you know. You're not always going to have your best game, and Spence knows that. It doesn't matter if you play quarterback, running back, receiver, DB, or whatever position on the field. You're not always going to have your best game, and Spence knows that, and so it's all about him not getting in his head, and our teammates do our best to not let himself get in his head, and we're going to uplift him knowing that you're still a good quarterback for us, and we need you to win this game. So that's pretty much it. Spence is always going to keep fighting throughout the game and get stronger.
Tyler, you mentioned being the most emotional player out there on the field, but Kirk tends to be an emotional guy in the locker room. Did you get in there in time to see him crying? What's it like when that happens?
I didn't get in time. By the time I got in there, we singing the fight song, just because all the fans, I got caught in the middle, falling down on the ground and stuff. But he does tend to get emotional, and I love it about him. You know, it just shows that he cares about not just winning. He cares about us. He cares about this team and the guys the guys he brought to come play here. It's just a great feeling to see and know, and me knowing that I have a coach that cares about us. It just makes me want to go to war for him even more.
What's the mindset like when you fall behind their 17-3?
Say it again.
What's the mindset like when you fall behind their 17-3?
You know, no team wants to be behind 17-3 in the first half. It's not a good feeling, obviously, but you just have to maintain focus and going into the next possession and the next drive, knowing that we still have a chance to come back in this game, and that was our mentality. You know, coming into the locker room, we always said the game's 0-0 because we still have 30 minutes left. It's a 60-minute ball game, and that's our mentality, and we're always going to keep fighting, and we did, and the outcome showed that we always kept fighting, got stronger throughout the game.
Great. Thank you, Tyler.
Appreciate you.
Coach Ferentz, next.
Yeah, I saw a couple.
Yeah.
I'll see you.
There you go. How many field goals? Yeah. Apparently, a bunch of students tried to steal the cheerleading flags, the IOWA. Did they? They were running them up the student section.
Never forget this, when I was in Michigan, and Jordan said that he had a guy rip off his jersey.
Really? Yeah, he did. He did. No, it was Beathard. Beathard ended up with his stomach stolen. Beathard, it ended up downtown.
It was my before my close to the guys.
Yep. We got to risk. Not to mention how many people I think should edit this thing. Yeah. Right. Circuit feels busy too, we got someone else volleyball. Right.
November and March, they're up 3 times.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I hope you know you guys it's much appreciated.
Yeah.
That's the other part. No, it all looks good. I haven't had any
You can get stuff with it.
Now we're
Thanks, everyone, for being here. Appreciate your coverage. Reminder, send in your player request for Tuesday by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Next week, Purdue, 2:30 on ABC, and then the open week after that. With that, we'll get right to Coach.
Thanks, Steve. Had the door locked, I was going to turn around and leave. I'll get in trouble for that probably, right? So, First and foremost, just really pleased for our team, and it was a really good win for us. Certainly, the guys had to work hard for it, and just really proud of our team. It was a tough game. We knew that coming in. Knew that it would be. Penn State's got great talent, great athleticism, and they've been playing really good football. So just really proud. We got off to a tough start, slow start. Our guys just kept working, kept pushing through it, and that's talk to our guys all the time. That's why they play 60 minutes. There's a clock out there, so it's all about trying to finish the game and do what we can, the best we can. So got off to a slow start, I think, pretty much in all phases. We really weren't sharp defensively. Obviously, weren't sharp offensively, and they were making it hard on us. Very active defense, but I think everybody just kept working and pushing, and to be behind like that and keep our foot on the gas, I thought was really impressive. And like I said, they're a good team. We've had tremendous respect for them, continue to, and they're a team that can make things happen pretty quickly if you're not careful. So just, again, really happy about that. I think, every week, the goals are really simple, to try to come out ahead in the score at the end of the week, and then also to improve. And, playing a game like that where it was tough, it was really gritty. That's going to be a good thing for us. I think that'll serve us well down the road. And, we'll look at the film tomorrow and see what it looks like, where the improvement is. But I just felt like our tempo at parts of the game was really good, really encouraging. I thought our offensive line grew a week ago, and I think that they did some things today that were impressive. So hopefully we'll see continued growth there, and the tape will tell us where else we need to go to work as well. Some really obviously big plays in the game. I thought our defense, I think we only got 1 sack, but again, good pressure. Same thing last week. We had no sacks, but the guys up front were affecting their play. The rush, and obviously Jack hitting the quarterback was a big play, kind of like the bowl game 2 years ago. It was a good clean hit, good aggressive play, and that's what happens when you let a guy come run in there like that. Then offensively, Chuck's Charlie Jones's play on that touchdown was a really smart play, a great effort player, but a smart play, not putting the ball out at risk. Keegan Johnson, young guy, giving us a spark there, and then obviously Peterson regaining on that touchdown was huge. A lot of good efforts defensively, up and down the board. Hankins making that stop on 4th down right in front of our bench. Just teased him, we may move him to linebacker. That was a hell of a tackle, where, he basically just, stopped the guy. And that's really hard to do. So, just emblematic, and, got it picked on top of it. And then Shudak, great job with the field goals. And then, finish up with Torrey. It's ironic, Jason Baker is in the locker room, and we beat these guys in 2000. Jason was the MVP in that game, in my opinion. Just changing field position, and what Torrey did today with an assist to Terry Roberts and Ivory, down there. Can't say enough about that impacted the game. And then tying that in, the ball's down and they're tight, and our fans did a great job. Like they were into the game. We knew they'd be ready to go at start, and they were more ready than we were. I just wanted to make sure our team understood, that, they can't play the game for us. So they did a great job, and they were there all the way through, and what a great scene at the end. So that's really special. That's what makes being in Kinnick special. The only thing I'll top it off with, you think about this, just step back for 1 second. You got the Slater family being honored. You got Bob Stoops, Marshall Yonda out there. I'm not sure it can get any better. So it was just a really good day, and I want our team to enjoy this smartly, but enjoy this tonight. They deserve that, and then we'll turn our attention to the next one tomorrow. And I'll throw it out for questions.
I'm sorry. You kind of touched on it, but what did it say that the student section at the end of the game was chanting MVP for Torrey? They're used to it. They know what he did.
They're smart football folks, that's, and Iowa football fans have always been smart. They know when to cheer, and they've always appreciated defense. At least my 30+ years here, which means they're smart because especially in this day and age, nobody really cares about defense. But they're smart, and then the special teams part too. And what a great week for Torrey. It was his birthday, I think, Thursday, and for him to, and the rest of the story with him, he just. He's a guy who got here a year ago, year plus ago, and I think he's been home once, so it's tough, it's tough, and that's, worry about, other guys getting there, ever go home, and, he hasn't been home, so just an unbelievable young guy. We're so glad he's on our team.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I talked over you.
Yep, okay.
Did anybody go over to Australia, or did you get rid of camp?
LeVar did. He was, you know, he was already committed to us and all that, but Lamar did it and sealed the deal, or, you know, at least got to know him and his family a little bit.
You've had great punters, you've had great place kickers, great gunners, but have you ever had a collection this good?
No, not, you know, we didn't talk a lot about it coming in, at least publicly, but that's one thing I felt good about in August. There are a lot of things I didn't, but the fact that, yeah, to your point, we're a veteran at those positions, those critical positions. Gersonde hasn't done that before, and he's done a nice job all season long. And that's really important, because if the place kicker doesn't have confidence in the holder and snapper, it's a tough deal. But Ryan's done a good job there. But we all, I know I said publicly, we all felt like Shudak's a starter. Like he and Keith were just so close. And like I say, he's 28 years old. He's, you know, teaching in the engineering school. I'm joking, he's still getting a master's where he's getting, but he may be teaching here eventually. So, you know, we all knew what he was, and then, you know, Torrey just continues to get better. So and then Charlie, I mean, and what we didn't know about Charlie was the kick return aspect. We knew he was a great punt returner. He's done a really good job with kick returns, and for my money, he's turned into a really good receiver too. That's great to see.
Kirk, how much did that touchdown pass get set up earlier in the game on that in first quarter play? You have a similar play where Spencer rolls out, kind of hits a levels pass on the flat. Does that set up that Reganey touchdown in your opinion?
It doesn't hurt, you know, it's part of what we do, and the touchdown play is something we felt good about during the week. But, you know, these guys, I mean, I don't know if we've played anybody that's brought more pressure than them. And they were 40, 50% anyway, but I'll be curious what the final number ends up being. So you worry about that a little bit, because it can get a little sticky. And but, you know, it's just executed so well. And that's not an easy throw for Spencer. He did a great job. And Nico's been just, you know, so dependable for us.
Coach, people talk about complimentary football like it's a cliche a lot of times, but each unit made a major contribution to your victory today.
I mean, you know, we're still whatever 6 games into it now, so these rankings are still kind of, you know, I mean, there's a lot to be decided, and they don't mean a lot, but nonetheless, these are 2 good teams today. And it's true all the time for us, but especially in a game like this, you know, where you know the competition's about as good as it's going to get. For us to have a chance, it sure helps if we're hitting on, you know, complimenting all 3, and I think that's what ended up happening today. So that was really huge, and that's where I go back to, you know, I was teasing Jason Baker. You know, he really changed field position. 2000, it was the same thing with Torrey today. A little different, but, you know, he was really pinning them in there and making them go to the long field, which is Aaron Kemp was in there too, and Aaron was just talking about how big that is to take the field when a guy, you know, plus 50 punts it down there like that.
Kirk, you've already brought up a 60-minute game. All of your kids brought up 60-minute games. Was there any point today where your internal clock was going, okay?
Well, I think it was about 6-something when we hit that touchdown, I think, right? So that was good. Like, you know, my fear at that point was going down and getting the field goal and then, you know, having to come up with one at the end. So, yeah, for sure. I mean, you're always kind of measuring that stuff and what have you. But we had pretty good confidence in our defense at that point, too. And that's, you know, a flashback to 04 on that one. It just kind of had that same feeling for us.
In some ways, Spencer's kind of like Ricky Stanzi, where sometimes you don't know where things are going to go, except not to the other team, in the other direction.
Yeah, he's done a little better at avoiding those pick sixes.
Yeah, there's like 5 of them. But he was like 1 of 9 in the first quarter, and then he ends up having, you know, a second half that really helped spark the team. In what ways has he grown into this? And it seems like your team has a lot of confidence in him. That doesn't matter how he starts, but just how he.
They do, and I think we've had confidence in him even when it was a little bumpy, you know, a year ago. And I know the outside world didn't share maybe as much, but we get to see these players day by day, and teammates get to see each other also. So they know how invested he is, and you know, he's not a weak-minded guy. Like, this guy's, you know, he's on the right track. So I mean, that was a tough first, whatever it was, 1 of 9. I mean, that was tough, and it didn't feel so good around the sideline either. But you know, I go back to last year, his best outing really was his worst outing. You know, starting so poorly at Illinois and then coming back, and that's what this game's about. You know, especially if you're playing high-level competition. It's hard to just have things go the way you want or the way they go in practice every day. And so at some point, you got to figure out, can you push through it? And you know, we're lucky. We got a lot of guys that, you know, will do that. I'm sorry.
Do you ever worry about?
I'll stay here all night. I'm in no hurry. I may fall asleep on you, but I'll stay here as long as you want.
Did you ever worry about patience with the team, or does it change year to year? Because I mean, today you had a lot of drives get into Penn State territory and then end. How do you assess the patience of your team to kind of stay
It's
with
just
it?
football, and I got torched for saying that in 14, but it is the way football is, there's ebb and flow. And again, we weren't playing the Brookline midgets, those guys were pretty good. So, you just gotta keep trying to punch and just see if you can find something that maybe will go for us. And, we're hunting and pecking a little bit in the running game, and things weren't going well for Spencer at all in that first quarter. Like, he just wasn't seeing things. It wasn't really happening. So, when you play tough competition, that's I'm not saying it's to be expected, but sometimes it does happen. You just got to work through it.
Starting with Petrus, do you teach patience, or is it something you just have to identify when you're recruiting?
Yeah, I wish we could say we were 100% on that too, but some guys just do things better than others. That's always been that way. But I think the coaching part is for us to continue to explain to players it's not always going to be smooth or easy. I wish it was. It'd be great if it was. And last week's a perfect example. We none of us saw that coming. It worked out to be a game where you're comfortable in the fourth quarter, but that's so unusual, especially in conference play with this conference. So they just got to understand it's probably going to be tough. You better expect it to be tough, and it's not great, but expect it to be tough. And sometimes you just got to just keep playing and hope somebody sparks you, or something good happens. And if teams that can do that, learn how to do that, have a chance to be successful.
Talk about how important the fans are today. How important were the fans?
Yeah, they were so good from the start. And one of the points I made back on Monday with the team was that we knew we could count on that. Just absolutely knew we could count on that. But again, it's still for the players' job to play the game. Fans would love to come out in the field, and they did afterwards. When I got a great escort, you talk about some good blocking there, but the player, that's like the flip of it. We were on the road a couple of weeks ago in a tough environment. Now the flip here is that the fans aren't going to get it for you. They're not going to deliver it. They want to help you, but they got you got to play. And our fans are so good. This goes back to 30-plus years of history. They're pretty good, and they know when it's a big game too.
What's the emotion like for that celebration in the locker room when you're sharing that with those guys?
It's fun just to watch the guys. They're they let it go. And it's fun. That's what they're supposed to do. It's fun.
Kirk, you mentioned that sometimes fans don't get excited. Not your fans, but fans don't love defense dominating teams. Is there any extra pride or sense of self or something having that identity in this era of college football?
Yeah, when I was here in the 80s, we played pretty good defense, and I always got a kick out of Coach Fry. The white pants, the shades, scratch word itches, exotics, all that stuff that he had. Go back to any big game, including Michigan, where it was 12-10 or whatever. It was all about good defense, field position, not giving up big plays, and then trying to find a way. So he was the all-time best at having people totally buffaloed on, look over here, and meanwhile he's doing that. We played pretty good defense, and Bob Stoops was one of those guys. He just is a tough, hard-minded guy. So it's just my experience in sports and watching. If you play defense, you got a shot, no matter what sport. And if you don't play defense, boy, I'll tell you, it's a little scary. So, and when we got here, one of the luckiest things I ever had in my life is Norm Parker. So. There it goes. That's the foundation right there.
So Dotson, 17 targets, 48 yards receiving, and 1 punt return for 1 yard. I know you were really worried about him. Yep. And then on top of that, it may be easy for people to think you're facing a backup quarterback. You got your defense delivered for you, it seemed like time and time again.
Yeah, again, their quarterback was in for reasons, and that's part of the game. It's a hard game. And so, yeah, we had great respect and still do for Dotson. He's a really good football player, and you just watch him. He's really good. So to keep him contained and controlled, that's good for us. And, worried about all those guys. They did some tough things to us, those little screens out there on the boundary and blocking up and put us in some tough situations. And again, I don't think we started out the kind of tempo we want. And they had it going, but our guys settled down a little bit and, started playing.
How's Riley?
Hopefully good. We'll find out. I'll know more Monday probably. When I see you guys Tuesday, I'll have an answer. But optimistic at this point, but we'll see. Yep.
Kirk, a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned you were not concerned at that point about the offense's production.
Yeah.
To see them execute a play like that late in a game with the game on the line, how big was that for you to see and for them as a unit?
That's, you know, to me, I'm a bad stat guy and always have been, because I really don't care all that much about them, other than the turnover takeaway thing. Like, that is important, and you know, you can move the ball, but you got to have it when it counts. And today they made it really hard on us, especially around that game. And but yeah, at some point you got to step up and do something. And you know, it was a great play call and great execution. But there's some really good things going on that maybe weren't as dramatic. That was good to see in that second half. And just pleased with the way the guys responded. You know, at halftime nobody had their head down. They realized we're in a game, and you know, we're going to go out and try to finish this thing off. And they did a really great job.
Nico said that in the second half. He was just screaming his head off for the defense and trying to cheer for them. And Jack Kerner talked about how much these guys care about each other, unit to unit, person to person. Jack Campbell's talked about that a bunch this season. I know that's something every football team has to have, but do you feel like this team is special in that way? Because they've talked about it a lot.
You know, we're only halfway home, but they're off to a really good start there. And, you know, I've never seen really good teams that don't feel that way. You know, usually, no matter what sport, even, you know, NBA basketball or whatever. I mean, when you get that going, you got a shot. And these guys do. That's genuine. They really, the leadership we've gotten from our most experienced guys, our older guys, not just seniors, but some guys that have played, that's given us a chance to be 6-0 right now.
Do you find that these guys are good? Do you think they're really good? You starting to buy in a little bit more? I mean,
no, we got a long way to go. We're, you know, and our approach to this whole thing has been 7 weeks, and then we'll figure out. We'll assess things at it's not midterm, but during the bye week, you know. So right now it's just kind of been next one up, and you know, but we are going to enjoy this one. I'll promise you, and then we'll take a look at the next one starting tomorrow.
How do you think the 7th week will be hard?
I'm sorry?
You think the 7th week will be hard? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one of our hardest games was Colorado State a couple weeks ago.
But I don't mean euphoria as much as just getting on that even keel again, refocus.
I mean, you know, you guys know the scores better than I do. I mean, if each and every week, and unlike the '80s, there were some games in the '80s where, you know, it'd be tough to figure out how to lose this one. But you know, the last 23 years to me, it seems like, you know, usually they're all tough, and as soon as you start thinking it might be a little bit easy, you know, that's when the door slams right in your face. So, but that's a trick. I mean, you got to get everybody else to understand that, because you know, we've been there, and we've had games right out here not that long ago that were really disappointing. So. It's not ancient history.
Kirk, when, in 2015, when you were reaching kind of this same point in the season, you allowed the team to kind of take a step back. I think it was during the bye week.
During the bye week, yeah.
Yeah, just not during the month.
Yeah.
And kind of, okay, allow yourself to think big and then come back, and then it's more back narrow. Do you anticipate that same type of mental approach if next week goes?
Well, you're getting way ahead of me, because we could be crying next week at this time, or we could be really happy. And so that, you know, we just got to figure out how to have a good game next week, and then. But I'm a great believer. It's like tonight. I mean, you know, I want our guys to feel good, because they should. They fought like hell today, and they deserve to win. You know, it wasn't easy. There's nothing about it easy, and they can feel really good about that. And, you know, my mentor said, celebrate a good block, celebrate a good tackle, like Hankins made. Like, those are good things. That's how good football happens.
Where does?
Sorry, Scott?
I was going to say, you've been through some of these types of moments, going all the way back to '85, and you were an assistant to Michigan a couple of years ago, Ohio State. I mean, what do you do during a crowd storm?
Tonight, or on the field?
Yeah, if you're on the field.
I had good security. I mean, you know, but in the old days, like when I wasn't, nobody cared if I got run over. I just, you know, got up against the wall and you just go right down and you're safe. That's the only way to get out. I did learn that, whatever year it was, 80 something, probably 81, I guess, right? Because we had a few of those. So that's the only way. But you know, you got to go out and shake hands and then try to navigate your way. That was tough.
Where does this one rank for you over the years when you look at? You know, I know it probably takes some more time to really look at it, but where does it rank in your mind right now?
Well, I mean, it's way too early to say that, but it was a really good win. I mean, there's no denying that, and everything about it, just not only the game, our fans, you know, it's always more fun to be at home and let them share in it. But the way we did it, really proud of our guys, the way they did it. And, you know, when I'm in that stamp collecting mode, we'll look back and rank, you know, like they do in surveys and stuff. Maybe we'll rank where the things are, but I'm really happy today, that's for sure.
Kirk, the guys talked about you in the locker room getting emotional, and how much that means to them. What does that mean to you?
That's just, I got that gene from my old man, so, I mean, there's no denying it, and no sense in it. But, we're all enjoying this. We're all enjoying this, and we enjoy each other, and respect each other. So it's a pretty good deal, pretty good deal. We got a great, I don't know how good a team we are to that point, but I know we got a really good group of guys. And it's fun, staff included. Everybody involved's been really great.
On the offensive line, a lot of younger players seem to contribute a lot. What did you see from them?
I see continued growth. I'm anxious to see the film. Last Saturday, it was fun to watch the film against Maryland because you saw that. And, I mean, one highlight for me today, I saw the young, about 5 yards down the field, mixing it up with one of their marquee guys. And I'm glad to see a walk-on from Pella, not backing down from some guy who's a celebrity player. And it was just really good. Our guys, they're competing. And, if they start believing in themselves a little bit like that, and it's tough for younger guys, especially in the interior where it's really physical. But if we can get those guys believing a little bit and start, thinking maybe they can do some things, there's a lot of room for growth, and I'm encouraged by that. Okay,
Anything
thanks
else?
very much.
All good. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.